Have you tried all the diets to help you lose weight? You keep getting frustrated because of all the contradicting diet information out there, not meeting your goals, and constantly feeling miserable when you finally budge in and decide to enjoy a sweet treat? Well, look no further, because I have tried all the diets out there the past 15 years to lose weight, burn fat, and build muscle. And that's why I created this step-by-step guide to help put you on the right track to success. Hi, I'm Daniel in Athletics, and I'm here to help you lose weight, burn fat, and build muscle without giving up snacks and sweets. I went from fat to fit and found out what worked with me, and I'm here to share all the secrets with you in hopes that it really helps you finally meet your nutrition and fitness goals. For the greater part of the last 16 years, I tried to lose weight, trying all types of diets, extreme caloric deficit levels. That caused me to be fearful of foods, develop some other eating disorders. Then I transitioned into ketogenic diet and was on that for the longest time and created some other phobias that I mentioned in my top 5 biggest mistakes video. These were all unsustainable, created a boom bust cycle and a roller coaster of emotions. And in the end, I was unhappy, felt defeated, and ended up gaining more weight than before I started those diets. COVID was life-changing for me because it gave me the time to dedicate to studying nutrition, fitness, calories, thermodynamics, and learning about goal setting and creating lifelong habits that lead to lifelong success. So when it comes to body recomposition, I'm going to cover a few key topics to remember. Body recomposition is the simultaneous loss of fat cells while increasing your muscle mass. The reason when a lot of people lose weight, they are unsatisfied with their body is because they might lose weight and they look thinner, but they're skinny fat. They're very thin, but squishy. I hate to use the word squishy, but that's what it is. If people want to get thinner, they want to get leaner and retain muscle mass because a muscle is more effective and more efficient to optimize your performance every day. Your skeletal muscle holds your skeleton together. It helps it function optimally for everything you're doing throughout the day. And our bodies go through a beating. In order to diminish the amount of fat and increase the amount of muscle, you have to have an effective nutrition plan that will create a caloric deficit in a strategic way that will force your body to burn that fat, coupled with a very strategic fitness plan created in a way that's sustainable for life, not over the top crazy, and built to develop muscle mass throughout the process. Your body burns fat only when it's in a caloric deficit, and a caloric deficit can be created in 2 ways. One, by increasing your energy expenditure, by moving more, burning off more calories throughout the day. Exercise is included, but the biggest factor to actually burning your calories is actually NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is what you do 70 to 90% of the day. Fidgeting, moving around, pacing while you're talking on the phone. Every movement that's not considered exercise is actually using energy to create that movement. You also have your regular basal metabolic rate, which is required to keep you alive, your metabolism going, your regular bodily functions. And then you have your exercise activity thermogenesis. And that is the proactive exercise that you do. It's a very small amount of calories. The important thing to create a calorie deficit is to focus on the big portion, the big chunks, the non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which accounts for most of your daily energy expenditure, and increasing that. And that only happens through habit. That happens by proactively getting up and throwing your food away when you're at a fast casual diner, or proactively parking a little bit further away from the grocery store so that you have to walk 20 to 30 extra feet every time you go to the grocery store. All those little decisions are small activity habits that over the long term, over your life, create an exponential amount of caloric expenditure that can increase your results. And that goes into habit forming. So being mindful of that is the first step to the success. The other factor when it comes to creating a caloric deficit is decreasing the amount of calories consumed, but to ensure that you're decreasing by the right amount. So I developed a strategy that is not too aggressive, because being too aggressive can actually hinder and actually give you the opposite results of what you want. Caloric deficit needs to be minor enough, force your body to burn fat, but if it's too extreme, your body will actually hold on to fat cells for dear life and actually burn other cells in your body for energy, because you're not solar powered. You will not derive energy from the air or from the sun. It has to come either from in your mouth or on your body. You retain calories in all 3 different forms. Calories are derived from the 3 macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And you actually retain all these 3 in your body. Carbohydrates are retained in your muscle as glycogen. And those are depleted very quickly. You do have protein sources in your body. It's in your muscle. It's actually in a lot of your body. It's in your skin, in your organs, other cells. Most importantly, it's in your muscle. And fat, well, we all know where you have fat around your body. So I'll let you take a gander at that one. All three macronutrients have a caloric amount assigned to it. Carbohydrates and protein are the easiest. They're only 4 calories per gram. That means that for every gram of protein, if you ingest it, you are consuming 4 calories. Same thing goes for every gram of carbohydrate, it's 4 calories. That also means every gram of protein burned and processed, you're utilizing 4 calories for energy. Same thing goes with the carbohydrates stored in your muscles as glycogen. When it comes to fat, here's the thing. Fat is actually 9 calories per gram, which means it's the most efficient fuel source. There's more than double the amount of energy contained in the same amount of grams of fat than there are of protein or carbohydrate. This is like premium fuel. So that means if you consume 1 gram of fat, you're consuming 9 calories. It's more calorie dense. But for your body to burn it, it also gets to derive more than double the energy as protein carbohydrates. So what does that mean? Since fat is the most efficient fuel source, that means there's a lot more energy in the same amount of weight and mass, then your body will try really hard to hold on to it. And so we have to create minor caloric deficits, but also create the environment that forces your body to burn that fat. And that's by training your muscle. You want to continue to train and exercise your muscles and feed your muscles appropriately so that your body prefers to retain the muscle during your caloric deficit. That's why when a lot of people diet and lose weight, they look thinner, but they are actually really squishy. They've lost weight in their muscle, their skeletal muscle mass, not in fat. So all this is important for you to know before I dive into the 3 habits I had to develop to finally transform my body. Habit number 1 was creating a sustainable workout routine. And by sustainable, I mean for life. 1 is my strength training routine. You have to continue to develop your skeletal muscle and train your skeletal muscle so you don't lose it. You have to train it so that you can grow it because your body only has the muscle mass it needs in order to perform its daily functions. So if you start incorporating daily functions that are a little bit more strenuous, require a little bit more weight lifting, then your body is going to naturally develop more muscle mass in order for you to be able to do that quicker, more efficiently, and with less recovery afterwards. In order to create the optimum amount of muscle growth, I had to train each muscle twice a week. I took the amount of days I was willing to commit to going to the gym, and that was 6 days a week. Sundays, I left it open in case I was a little bit tired, wanted a day off. So I couldn't create a 6-day split because then I would only be training 1 muscle group a day. Also, I didn't want to do a full body split because a full body 6 days a week is overtraining. I wouldn't be growing any muscle. I'd be so tired that I wouldn't be training hard enough to create new muscles. So what I did do, I took 6 divided by half because I can do each body part twice a week. And that left me with a 3-day split. Now, all I had to do was choose the 3-day split I wanted. The one I preferred was a push-pull leg split. Push for chest, triceps, shoulders. Then pull is for back, the opposite of push. Pull is back muscles, biceps. And then legs is obviously my lower body. The glutes, the hamstrings, the quads, the calves. These were all the major muscle groups that would create a distinct physique for my body. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was push, pull, legs. And then I just repeated it. Thursday is push, Friday is pull, and Saturday is legs. Push, pull, legs twice a week. Each muscle group is getting trained twice a week. Then was to create my cardio training routine. The heart is the most important muscle in the body. The American Heart Association recommends 150 minutes a week of moderate cardiovascular exercise. I include a fast-paced walk, brisk walk, not enough to be sweating. So what I decided to do is I have a morning habit to just check my emails. I dedicated 25 minutes every morning throughout the week to check my emails, update content, follow up, watch some videos. Did that on the elliptical. Elliptical is my favorite machine because I could stand straight, I could play on my phone, I don't have to hold anything. My favorite level is level 18 or 19. And that level isn't high enough to make me sweat. I just get my heart pumping, keep my heart healthy. That in its own burns about 150, close to 200 calories. It's slowly increasing my daily activity level because this cardio routine is a daily routine. When it comes to your workout routine habit, what's important is You figure out your availability and what you can dedicate yourself to. I was able to dedicate 6 days a week at the gym and every morning for 20 minutes. And I'm able to do that even if I'm traveling, because when I would travel, it would be on the weekends. I could find a gym anywhere I'm at. And even if I can't find a gym, I could still get my daily cardio. Just a brisk walk around the neighborhood, wherever I'm at, even around the hotel, going to the club and dancing a little bit. There's ways to replace those cardiovascular activities. And so that was something I was willing to commit to. It's all about finding what you can commit to. If you can only go to the gym and only want to commit one time a week, it might not be as sustainable, because I'm a firm believer that daily habits are more sustainable, because your body creates that positive feedback of meeting your daily habits and daily goals, keeps you on a winning mindset, keeps your energy levels high. You don't have to reintroduce your motivation once a week. It's just a daily habit. But if you can only go once a week, maybe do 150 minutes once a week, whatever you can manage with your schedule. My way, I think, was the easiest for me, to have a small commitment of time once a day in the morning to do something that I was already doing, sitting on the toilet. Habit number 2 is the most important. One of my old managers told me, you track what you care about. Every company tracks performance. You know, when it's mid-year, annual reviews, performance reviews, there's always reports to look at, because you track what you care about. If you don't track it, you can't improve it. So there were a couple things I had to learn to track. 1 was the workouts we just talked about, and 2 was my weight, and 3 was my food intake. When it came to the workouts, I used an app called Jeffit. Jeffit was a great, easy fitness tracking tool. And all I had to track were my workouts. I found a push-pull leg day split, and I doubled it for the week. The split already had its own design. I modified it as I started to perform the exercises. I saw what my gym had for machines, and some machines that I didn't have, I just replaced them and created my routine little by little over time. Once I got a routine that I liked with the machines I liked and the movements that I liked, I just never touched it ever again. And I still do it to this day. The important thing about tracking when it comes to your fitness routine is that the tracking allows you to monitor what your performance is and ensure that you're creating the environment, as I said before, to create muscle growth. Your muscles only grow when they need to grow. And so if there's no reason to grow, they're not gonna grow. And the only reason they're gonna grow is if you need to increase your performance, if you need to lift heavier weight, if you need to go for an extra rep. And so by tracking, I was able to see what I did the day before when I went to go do the same exercise. My only goal that next day when I went in was to beat that record. Not by a lot. I wouldn't go from 100 pounds to 150 pounds, but I would go from 100 pounds to maybe 105 pounds. Or I could increase my performance when it came to sets and reps. If I was only able to do 8 reps last time on the 3rd set, the next time I would push for 9 reps. Sometimes there just wasn't improvement. At least I would know what I can do to keep it the same. My goal was to always increase my performance by the smallest fraction, because you want to create improvements that are sustainable. If you go from 0 to 60, that's not sustainable to go from 0 to 60 and then another 60 the next day. If you go to 0 to 1 and then 1 to 2 and 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4, that's more sustainable over time and diminishes the risk of injury. Because if you're injured, you can't work out. And if you can't work out, you can't train. And if you can't train, you can't grow and you can't make progress. Start low and start slow. The next thing I had to track was my body weight and my body progress. Daily weigh-ins allowed me to monitor my weight fluctuations and see the results from a bird's eye view. When you're monitoring your weight daily, you're creating that data feedback. Your body's giving you feedback as to what it's doing, how much it ate the day before, how much food you have in your body, and what your weight is. By monitoring that daily, you start to build a mind-body connection. You start to really feel how your body's reacting to certain levels of activity, certain levels of sleep, certain levels of food and eating and what you eat and how much weight you retain. You start to be more connected. That is a dedication in itself that's gonna last you throughout your life, as long as you build that habit of constant weigh-ins. So I built a daily weigh-in schedule to weigh myself every morning right after I pee. That's my closest to my true weight, because my bladder's empty and I also haven't eaten in over 8 hours because of my fast during sleep. The weight will go up and down even if I'm dieting, because I don't know what I ate the day before, how much my water am I retaining. By tracking this over time, I was able to see the longer term picture, because there's a lot of data points, but over time you see the trend. And that's the trend we want to see, either trend going up or trend going down. So how did I log this? Well, the app that I used for tracking my food was also my weight and my photo progress log. That's called MyFitnessPal. MyFitnessPal is the best food tracking log that I have found. It has the biggest database of all the foods. It used to have a barcode scanner for a lot of the foods that have barcodes. You have to pay for it now, but you don't even need it. It only takes a few keywords to just find any food. And if you use a diet strategy like mine, you're gonna find foods very easily because I like things that are already prepackaged and easy to find, and going to restaurants that are very popular. And I just alluded to the last type of tracking was the food tracking. So when it came to food tracking, I started learning how to track my food. This was the second habit I was building, the tracking habit. By learning this habit, I was also able to learn what foods had what caloric contents. Every time I tried a new food, I had to log it in. I was able to see the calories, the protein, and that over time allowed me to remember, oh, okay, if I order a turkey burger versus a real burger, I'm going to be cutting 200 to 400 calories off the whole burger. Then I started incorporating the different types of ingredients into things when I was cooking my own foods, and I realized, oh, it wasn't just the entire burger, it was the cheese added an extra 150 to 200 calories. And so maybe I could just order a burger without the cheese and I'd be cutting the total calories by 150 to 200. These are just examples. I could talk forever about this, but this type of knowledge only comes from experience. By logging, you will learn this experience. I can't teach it to you. You just have to experience it. It's just like learning not to touch the stove when it's hot. So try MyFitnessPal, and I would recommend you put your calorie maintenance amount in the beginning and try this out. This is how I found my calorie maintenance number. I went to tdeecalculator.net. TDEE stands for Total Daily Energy Expenditure. Calories is energy. Calories equals energy. Energy equals calories. At least when you're talking about the human body. You're talking about combustion engine cars. Energy is fuel. Energy is gasoline. We're talking about Teslas. Energy is batteries. Energy is volts. We're talking about human bodies. Calories is energy. Protein, fats, carbohydrates all contain energy. Food contains calories. Food is energy. Clear? The tdeecalculator.net is going to give you an estimation of what your total daily energy expenditure is. Meaning, just by living your day-to-day life, performing, working, eating, sleeping, metabolizing, walking to work, walking to the fridge, turning on the TV, you require energy, and that energy is used up. You expend it. Total daily energy expenditure calculator is going to tell you the amount of energy expended in your day-to-day life. And that is the amount you need to consume to maintain your body weight. It's going to ask you your weight, your age, your height, your activity level. Now, here's a secret. Activity level, be very conservative. Activity level is based on what you do most of the day. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. Even if you go to the gym 6 days a week, if you are mostly 9 hours a day sitting in an office job and you're only at the gym for 30 minutes, that is not a high amount of activity when you look at it on a day basis. Because remember, 8 hours a day, you're sleeping. You're just sitting around doing nothing. And so if you're another 8 hours a day sitting at an office, the only activity you're getting is 30 minutes at the gym, activity level is very low. So that's considered sedentary. Light exercise, I would consider it going to the gym 6 days a week for 30 minutes, also incorporating cardio. When you're considering moderate exercise or heavy exercise, that is someone that is actually doing exercise for work. A construction worker that is moving a lot, landscaper moving a lot, lifting pounds of hay, a farmer, mostly a laborer, okay? Or even a server at a restaurant that has to go move back and forth, get food delivered to the table. Anything that requires a lot of movement. And then an athlete, you know if you're a professional athlete. If your main source of income is by performing exercise, then you can put athlete. Most of us are gonna be sedentary or light to moderate exercise. I consider myself, I worked at a bank for 8 hours a day. I did go to the gym 6 days a week, but I still consider myself sedentary. Being conservative is going to work in your favor if you're trying to lose weight and burn fat. Once I got my maintenance calories, which was 2,300 calories, I added that to my daily amount on MyFitnessPal. And that was the calorie goal I was trying to hit. Setting goals for yourself builds a goal mindset, builds a success mindset, especially when you have daily goals. So this was the biggest revelation. Stop setting goals so far out. In the journey to getting to that goal, your goals will change. Your priorities will change. So set daily goals. Set daily goals built to create that long-term goal, but only focus on meeting the daily goals. Daily goals are a lot easier to meet, and meeting your goals daily, you're creating positive reinforcement in your brain. Let me move on to habit number 3, which was built from those 2 habits, the habits of my food choices. By tracking my calories and monitoring my progress in the gym and my body with my weight and actually building a daily workout routine, I was building a lifestyle for success. Then I was able to build the new habits that had to do with my eating habits. I figured out how to meet my 2,300 calorie per day budget. That's how I saw it. My calories per day was my budget. And I just had to spend my budget. You can spend your weekly or monthly income on one Louis Vuitton handbag, but are you gonna be able to eat and live a life that you enjoy? No, you can't eat your Louis Vuitton handbag. Same thing goes with my daily budget of my calories. I could spend 2,300 calories on one big juicy burger from Applebee's, okay? Just greasy with cheese and bacon. But would that satisfy me? No, I was a big eater. I needed to eat multiple times a day. What worked for me was eating 3 to 5 times a day. So I just took 2,300 calories and divided it by 3 to 5 times. So then I had my meal budget and snack budget. I realized that every meal, I wanted to keep it around 300, maximum 500 calories for a full meal, and then usually for breakfast and snacks between 250 calories to 350 calories. And so I was able to create recipes that met those goals and snacks that were under 100 calories. I did create a video called my top 5 savory snacks for cutting, which was developed because of my favorite snacks that I use during my cutting phase. And here's some other snacks. So I love sweets, started getting the Fiber One 70 calorie brownies. I love brownies. 70 calories, they're already portion controlled, they're less than 100 calories, and it satisfied my sweet tooth. I did not want to get rid of sweets. Because if you get rid of sweets and you get rid of things you like, you binge on it later. Any life of restriction does not work. For salty snacks, 100 calorie popcorn. Popcorn is very voluminous, very high in fiber, keeps you full for longer, and very low in calories, especially if you get the 100 calorie packs. They have less sugar and less fats. For other sweets, any type of low calorie ice cream. This pint is 370 calories and it's peanut butter cup flavor. 370 calories and 17 grams of protein. I always kept a healthy stock of frozen meals at home because meals are easy to find on MyFitnessPal and I already know exactly how many calories and grams of protein it is. These healthy choice were my go-to because I could get 200 calorie ones, 170 calorie ones, 300 calorie ones, they even have big 500 calorie ones. So I would just pick and choose and build my day as I consumed my calories. The other important thing is to increase my protein. It's very easy to hit your protein goal when you're eating your maintenance, but when you're cutting, it's very difficult. And so I had to start choosing higher protein items. Protein snacks like Legendary were amazing. These are Legendary protein snacks. Look how big they are, okay? They're basically Pop-Tarts, but they're half the calories and have quadruple the amount of protein. 180 calories for this entire thing, and this is very thick, and 20 grams of protein. They also make these sweet rolls, protein sweet rolls, 200 calories, 200 calories and 20 grams of protein, so that's a 10% protein to calorie ratio. This is a cinnamon flavor, so it's basically like a cinnamon bun. You have the wild berry flavor, and you have the chocolate cake flavor. These are basically protein bars, but disguised as other types of desserts. It satisfies my dessert cravings, it satisfies my sweet tooth, but it also feeds my muscle. That was very important for me to remember, is to increase my protein intake. So when shopping for high protein items, this is the secret I developed. If the word protein is on the marketing label, that means they're trying to market that it's a high protein item. I looked for at least or close to a 10% protein to calorie ratio, meaning for every 100 calories, there's 10% of it is protein. That means 100 calories, 10 grams of protein. This was 180 calories, 20 grams of protein. It's way more than 10% protein to calorie ratio. This makes sure that you're making the best use of your dollar and made sure that I was consuming things that were going to help me build the body of my dreams. I did all this for 1 to 2 months until I built that routine and I knew I had a good habit. To my dismay, I actually started losing weight throughout those 2 months because I was tracking my meals, tracking my workouts, and ensuring that I was hitting maintenance. This is where that secret of being very conservative with your energy expenditure calculator comes into play, because that calculation was based on my sedentary lifestyle. Now I was doing daily cardio, burning 150 to 200 calories extra a day, and doing my strength training routine. And so I was actually creating a caloric deficit without consuming a caloric deficit amount. That gave me a boost towards my weight loss goals. My body started forming more muscle mass, more definition, and that kept me motivated with my cutting strategy that I'm going to share with you next. The cutting strategy is a 6-month strategy to increase the amount of fat burn in a very strategic way, in a way that forced my body to burn fat, but also retain as much muscle mass as possible. So I was already building that muscle mass for 1 to 2 months, building that strength and that figure and that routine that was going to lead to success. I took my total daily energy expenditure, my maintenance calories, and I immediately cut it by 300 calories. I created an immediate caloric deficit of 300. I knew that I didn't want to go over 600 calorie deficit because once you get too much of a caloric deficit, your body actually starts feeding into your muscle mass because your body starts thinking that it's in starvation mode. And if it thinks it's in the starvation mode, it's actually gonna hold on to the fat. It's the most caloric dense energy source, remember, 9 calories per gram. And it's gonna start eating and consuming energy from other sources, your muscle glycogen, but if that's depleted after one workout, it's gonna start burning your protein from your muscles, burning at 4 calories per gram. So yes, you'll be training it, but then it'll immediately be turning around and consuming it. And so there'll be no progress. And that's why I had to create a minor caloric deficit. So I created a cutting strategy that is 8 weeks long and consists of a periodic diminishing of calories week over week, a maximum of 500 calories a deficit per day, and then slowly increasing my calories. So I started with week 1, an immediate 300 calorie deficit for the full week from Sunday all the way to Sunday. Then the following week, week 2, I increased my caloric deficit by an extra 100 calories. So total of 400 calorie deficit. Week 3, a 500 calorie deficit. I didn't want to increase my calorie deficit by more than 500 calories because that is what triggers your body to switch on to starvation mode. And so after week 3, started tapering back up to my maintenance in a slower format as possible so that I continue to maximize the caloric deficit, but then also continue to force my body to increase in strength and increase in muscle mass, continuously burn fat, but then get my metabolism back up to regular levels. On week 4, I increased it by 100 calories, and so it's only a 400 calorie deficit. In week 5, increased another 100 calories in my intake. I only had a caloric deficit of 300. And then week 6, increased another 100, created an overall caloric deficit of 200. And then week 7, another 100, we created a caloric deficit of just 100. And then week 8, back to maintenance of 2,300 calories. By that time, I was looking leaner and more muscular. I did this twice. So this was a 6-month journey overall. Let me tell you, by this point, people were shocked. I have never seen a 6-pack before in my life, and I finally got to see it. And this moment changed my life forever. Every moment after that, I was shirtless half the time. Even during winter, I was wearing tank tops because I just was so proud of the results I created for myself. And I told everyone about this. I shared it on Instagram, blew up. People asked me to help them. So I created a coaching program for people that need a little bit more help, that don't have the time to dedicate to this process, that day-to-day routine process and the figuring it out process and the tracking process. So I created fitness plans, nutrition plans, meal plans, recipes. Comes with an app, personal tracker, a weight tracker, a progress tracker, a chat feature so you can communicate with me, and a monthly update to your fitness routine, your workout routine, and your meal plans and recipes. If you're interested in my one-on-one coaching, go to danielnuthlikes.com. If you like the snacks I talked about today, let me tell you, there's another snack that I didn't even talk about today, protein chips. I actually put 3 protein chips to the test to see which one's the best. Check this video to see which protein chip is for you. Go get it.